Go.
Welcome and thank you for coming and listening today. I'm going to be talking about voting, in particular about Alice Paul. Alice Paul was known in American history as being the author of the first draft of the Equal Rights Amendment. But prior to that, she was known for being involved in the women's suffrage movement. She was very passionate about women's suffrage and their right to vote. And in the early 1900s, rallied with women across America in protests and pageants and parades, demanding that women have the right to vote. She was so passionate about this that she was willing to spend time in jail. Now think about this. Back in the early 1900s, jail wasn't a fun thing for anyone, in particular a woman. And part of her protest in going to jail was that she and her fellow women prisoners would go on hunger strikes. So they would be in jail, not eating, and facing male jailers who didn't appreciate who they were or what they were standing for. And so she faced a lot of abuse while she was in the prison system. In the journals that I've been reading this week, in particular one in the Journal of American Culture, and then the PBS website has quite a bit of information, as well as there is a AlicePaulInstitute.org. You'll find a lot of information about her, but one of the stories that caught my attention is while she was in jail, in one situation, the jailer was so insistent that she eat that they force-fed her with a tube. Well, early 1900s, it wasn't so sanitary. They literally would just put a tube down her throat and pour the liquid in. And as a result, she had a lot of gastric diseases and upsets, and actually became quite ill after several of these imprisonments. So it caught me. And she was passionate about what she believed in. Now, why this is important to me in particular is that I am an American citizen now, but 20 years ago I was not. I'm a Canadian. I'm just across the border, but I realized that I was going to be living in the United States. And having the right of say, having the right to vote is very important to me. So I became a U.S. citizen on purpose, with the main highlight being I wanted the right to vote. Well, as I've looked through history and realized that up until recent years, this is an awesome privilege that we each have. You know, it's election season now, and I'm not endorsing for you for any particular candidate, but as women, you have a valuable say in what happens in this election process and in many elections yet to come. And 75 years ago, you did not have that right. And so it just caught my attention as I was thinking about this subject, what awesome work Alice Paul did on our behalf. She was highly educated. She was born to a Quaker family, had a doctorate degree in social work, and prior to her protest and involvement in the United States, actually went to England to finish some of her doctorate work. She got involved in the British suffrage movement over there, and went to jail there on behalf of women. She came here in the 1910s to 15s and joined the National American Women's Suffrage Association. And from that point on, was passionate throughout her life. She died in 1977, and all the way through to her death, she was involved in women's rights groups until the very end. She was passionate about it. I have several pictures here that I'll pass around. Look how pretty she was. One of the big protest that she was involved with was when Woodrow Wilson was being inaugurated for president. And, well, that's my speech.
Beautiful, isn't she? She's gorgeous.
Choreographed, excuse me, my words aren't coming out properly. She instigated that their pageant, their protest, would happen the day before Woodrow Wilson's inauguration, and had a huge turnout. Men from the politics came in Washington, D.C. and protested and were violent, and her movement ended up in the paper. And as a result, Woodrow Wilson actually passed the amendment that gave women the right to vote. So she has affected all of our lives to this very day, and I just wanted to share with you how much I appreciated her, and hope that you use your right to vote. Thank you.
Thank you.